This is really funny. Like, I just need the number 1 that I can just like plug in here on some different variables. It's fucking hilarious. Is it like get? Get 1? Basically, I want to just set it to 1. This is really funny. I guess this should be like, can I change the name here? Let's say dir x, dir y, and dir z. Alright, so if the key is down is true, then we're going to want to set dir z to 1. Otherwise, we're going to call set dir z to 0. Well, we don't want to set it to anything. We just want to say set it to 1 if not. I want to add. I want a constant. I want to add 1 to fucking direction. I want to add 1. Just the number 1. Oh, I don't want to get a fucking float array. I want to add 1. I just want the number 1. And I want to add it to 0. Jesus Christ. This is just... Add 1 to number blueprint. This is just hilarious. I need to add. I can't get the number 1 of all things. I can't just add 1 damn. I can't add 1 to 2. Okay, so you can't do that. What the fuck? Okay. I can't just define the number 1 and add it or something. What the hell? Okay, this is just idiotic. Like, all I want to do is I want to say, like, I want to go left and I want to go up. And to do that, I'd like to just make like a direction vector and set the x and the y and just be like, That's my direction. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think of a better way to do this, because usually when, it's not as though, blueprints are just garbage or something like that. It's just that I'm doing it wrong, and I'm trying to think, if I wasn't an engineer, how would I approach a problem of telling something that I want to go to the right? Because as an engineer, I'm just like, well, I just have like a vector, and then I just, set the x to +1 or something, and then boom, I'm going right. But that assumes a lot of things. That, using a vector does a lot of different actions. If I was just, not an engineer, I wouldn't think in terms of math. I'd probably just be like, if the key is down for left stick up, I'm just gonna call like go up or some shit like that, right? And, set wants to go up to true or something. Like go up, whatever. But kind of the concern is if I do like is key down and I've got like left stick down action. So it's like if both of them it's gonna be like if both of these things, then set this to 0. Otherwise, we're basically doing like, well, another branch of, if it's false, then we go here, and we're like, well, if up is true, then we set this to 1. Otherwise, we set it to -1 here. At the end of this, we want to call this set, this direction vector thing. And that's just for up and down, no need left and right. This should not be dir z. Should be dir y. Zero, one, and -1. And can I just make a node? Just like an empty node? There already are. Pick up and drop a line in empty space and then pick reroute point. Reroute. God, that is ugly as hell. Can I move this frickin' reroute now? I don't want to drag off of it, I want to move it. Alright, I can delete it. No, stupid ass. I can't figure out how to actually move the damn reroute node. It's like, how do you move it? It's a reroute node. Okay, if I control click it, okay, control click moves the reroute node. Great. Alright, so we have our direction vector, and we're going to call that on the movement object. We are going to call set wanted velocity in Durvec. Alright, I have no idea if this will work. The blueprint does not set the current value. What? Error. Alright. Wanted velocity is movement data, movement velocity. No, I want to move it. Stop it. I want to call it's not a Dashkin movement object, therefore self must have a connection. This blueprint is not a Dashkin movement object, therefore self must have it. It has a connection. The blueprint is not that. I don't get this. Like, it has one. There it is. It's set. So why are you still angry at me? Like, I set the fucking thing to movement controller. You're... It has a connection. Like, it has a connection. You're just wrong. Like, you're not correct. God. Ugh. Do I have to do this? That is just awful that I have to actually have a node like that. Like, it should be, if I was making this blueprint system, like, this is just a getter method. Like, I should be able to not route logic through it. It should just figure out that logic should be run for me. Because now, basically, what I have to do in order to get the velocity here is call, like, I have to actually go with the look at the movement data. Blueprint read only? Blueprint read write is what these things should be. Well, theoretically I should be able to get the get movement data. Can't actually get the damn thing off of it. Category movement speed edit anywhere. What does edit anywhere mean? Indicates this property can be edited by property windows. Blueprint read write. Alright, so I need to actually exit all this stuff. That's what it looks like. I can't. You can't select the main Unreal window. It just doesn't activate. It'll activate, but the other window will still draw on top of it. So I need to add blueprint read write to all these things to make them so we can actually access it. These just need to be commas. What do they need to be? We need to mark up all the things then. Man, it must be a complete pain in the ass not knowing C++ then, because this visual scripting stuff is not nearly as powerful as I thought it would be. Like I would have thought I would have been able to like get a number just like 1 and then and then set it and then be like, yeah, this I want to get the number. I want to set everything to 0 to start with, and then I just want to like add 1 to a number and be like, best I can do is four flow nodes. It's like, what? Are you for real? Hello, ZDocs. We are complaining bitterly about the universe at the moment, or at least I am, and all that. Basically, we're working with the blueprint system for Unreal, and we're learning it by using it, and that's usually a very frustrating process, especially when you start off and you don't know what the hell you're doing with it, and you're trying to do something basic, and you're like, I can do this super easily in my old stuff, no problem, but this new stuff is all stupid and new. And it's the same problem. Like you could do anything, like, man, I could totally tunnel through this mountain with this hammer and chisel, I know how to use this. And then you go get like this tunnel boring machine, and you're just like, I don't know all this shit about, you know, where am I gonna get gasoline to power this thing, and why do I need an electricity hookup, and you know, this tunnel boring machine is stupid. It's obviously not as good as this hammer and chisel. I'm comfortable with the hammer and chisel. I understand it. And so that's kind of where we are. We're probably at that point where we don't know what the hell we're doing, and we don't know the right way to do things. So we want to see if we can actually reference these objects now. I need to get the wanted velocity. So it's like get wanted, get movement velocity? Yeah, it's movement velocity. So let's get movement velocity and plug it in here. Yeah, because that doesn't look awful. Alright, so what this should do is it should set the velocity in our direction vector. And so when we play, nothing happens. Amazing. Okay, so how the hell do we do this? So I actually need to like get all of these things. Kind of like that. Oh god, this is awful. Error. I need the virtual controller. Alright, so we're not getting our can we set a breakpoint here? Toggle breakpoint. Okay, so we're here. Is there step into the node being executed? Alright, so the console open is false, so we're getting our virtual controller, and then we're setting key down and we're checking if both of them are true. The current value is false. This value is false. So we're going to be calling set. The current value is 0. Well, that's not true. That's not what we want. We actually want, like, if this is false, then we want to do that. So we went to 0, we went to branch here, went to the 0 node, we set the direction vector to 0, 0, 0, and then our movement velocity is variable not in scope. What? The direction is 0 and the velocity is not in scope. Okay, so set wanted velocity in vector. And in our thing, our velocity is set to 10,000 and our direction vector is set. Okay. So, let's toggle our breakpoint and resume. Let's see, so we got left stick up and down again. Okay, so these need to be actually left and right. So this should be left stick. Left stick. It should be what right is gonna go to 1. So it's right and then left. Alright, well, that doesn't appear to be doing what we want. It's probably because we're not actually going through those nodes, so what we need to do is change our execution flow to something like this. So we actually retrieve all those variables? Maybe, I don't know. And we need to also we need to grab our virtual controller there. So now we are I can move to the right, but I can't move to the left. Okay, why not? Because they had the wrong conditions, is what it looks like. Alright, so I can move to the right and to the left now. We did it. We did it in blueprints, and it only took us 4 times as long as if we just wrote the damn C++ code to do it. Jesus Christ. And it looks like a fucking monster. I'm sure there are better ways to do it. So now what we want to do is we want to see if we want to jump. Oh god, I've got this whole like timer in here for wanting to jump too. With like a grace period for jumping, so why don't we just do something real simple for jumping. There's probably a way to like collapse and hide stuff that you don't need. Alright, so what we need is an is key down. It's not an is key down though, it's is key triggered. Is key triggered. And our key that we're triggering is A for jump. And if we... So basically if we hold down the A key, then we are going to want to... We're going to call jump. Oh man. So we're gonna need to get the direction for our jump. And our direction should come from our dir.y. So I'm gonna do a branch here. I need a branch. So it's gonna be like if dir.y is less than 0. Oh my god, why did you throw this behind the universe? So we need to call this direction. Let's just call it dirt. This is ridiculous. This is just a mess. This whole thing right here. So what we want to do is we want to call like set direction. Set direction, and we're gonna set this to there's no like constant. I can't just set this damn thing to like left and right. What the fuck? Like I just want to like set. I just want to set this damn thing like so. The condition is like. Float is, yeah, float's less than float, so we're just like, if direction is less than 0, then we want to set. Alright, so we want to set this thing to nothing, and then if it's less than 0, we want to set it to left. Otherwise, we oh man, this is a wreck. So we don't want a less than, we want like a greater. Float is greater than, if it's greater than 0. If this is true, then we're setting this to right. Oh, Jesus Christ, okay, so okay, we're getting there. So if this is true, we want to set this to, we want to go here, we want to go here, otherwise we go here. Oh, this is just funny. Like, I can do this in like 2 lines of C++ code, but doing this in Blueprint code is just like sorry, we're gonna have to make 4 fucking nodes and a couple temporary variables and a fucking spider web in order for you to do this. We're sorry. And let's add a reroute node so we can hopefully contain a little bit of this madness. Alright, so we set our wanted velocity in our direction, so that makes it so we can move left and right. Cool. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to figure out so if we need to actually run through this. So we need to see like if we've triggered the A action, then we need to be able to jump. So what we need to do is route through all of this bullshit. So if this is triggered, then we're going to go up to this branch here, and then we're going to run through all this crap, and we're going to get our direction, and we're going to call jump. And we need our velocity off of here. So we are going to need to call this get movement data and then get this it's like jump velocity. And we have to actually route through this first. Just trying to organize this stuff so it doesn't look so ungodly, abomination, awful. It's not really working though. It's cool. It's cool, guys. We're just gonna. This is like, if anybody has played Factorio, this is what happens with Factorio. Like, you're making some really awesome factory, and then all of a sudden, you're just like off in the middle of the fucking biters, and shit is awful. Okay, we should be able to jump now. Right? I mean, if you just look at this, you're like, oh yeah, this is totally jump right here. This is it. Yeah, that's right. We're shit. That's totally jumping. But why the hell is it jumping the whole time? Oh yeah, because we don't have a branch here, so we need to like say like branch So if this is true, then we do all this horrible crap. Alright, so now I can move and all that. Wasn't that fun? That was amazing. We got Bitey moving again inside of Blueprints. And we only had to use this much garbage to make him do it. In some ways, that's not awful. Like, but we're not finished. We need a couple other things. If the key is, we need to actually do more stuff. Because what we have in there with the C++ version basically is if you hit the A key, but you hit it too early to hit the ground. So like if I go and play this, and like if I'm about to hit the ground and hit the A key, he doesn't jump. In the C++ version, he would jump as soon as he hit the ground. And this is much more apparent when you're kind of running along and like you're trying to jump and you hit the button a little too early and then the guy doesn't do anything. And that's a big problem because we don't, like if you hit the jump button just like 100 milliseconds before you hit the ground, like we should just totally jump. You know, that's something that should happen. So we need a new variable here. We need to call it like wants to jump. So basically what we want to do is this condition should do an OR gate. So basically we should plunk that in there. So it's like, okay, so if we want to jump or the A key was triggered this frame, then we're good. And basically the return value of this jump function, if this is false, yeah, so we need a branch here. So depending upon this, we need to set wants to jump. So basically, if our if this returns true, then we need to set set wants to jump to false. And if this is false, then we want to set wants to jump to true. Because he didn't jump, so we do want to jump. Actually, we need another branch here. So like, if wants to jump is false, then we want to set this to true. And we need a variable in here, which is our jump grace period. And this is a float. This totally reminds me of Factorio. I don't know if you guys have ever played Factorio, but you basically build a giant factory that builds giant factories, and you end up like making these conveyor belt lines of stuff like iron and copper, and then those go into like creating circuits, and then once you've created circuits you can create like more transport belts, and you can make even better transport belts, and then you can make robots out of circuits and steel and all sorts of shit like that, and you can make it so it builds all of itself. And it looks, your factory like starts off as like a nice little organized thing, and then by the end it's just like a fucking gigantic mess of just like crap, like copper plates coming in over here, that really shouldn't be because there was a copper deposit up here that you found. And yeah, it's actually a really great game if you want to like lose yourself in something. It's pretty cool. Alright, so we actually need to find our jump grace period, which is inside of our movement data. And we're going to do a set and I'm also kind of figuring out how I should organize stuff, and it looks like it's very easy to organize stuff kind of horizontally, where you just like go off to the right into the weeds, and you're just like, well, what are we doing? And then it's just this big long chain of shit. But it might also be easier to kind of organize the stuff by blocks, and then maybe throw the blocks somewhere else, kind of like in Harmony when Adam's organizing his animations. Alright, so we're setting the grace period to the jump grace period. And we also need to, before we check this guy over here for wants to jump, we need to do a branch here. So like if wants to jump after this is true, we've got our delta t all the way over there. If this is true, then we need to decrement float. Is it subtract? Minus? Add? So there should be I need to subtract two numbers. Basically, I need this. I need to take this jump grace period, and I need to do something with it. I need to subtraction, a minus b. Okay, so I need to subtract. I need to get this. I need to subtract delta t from it. Awesome. Let's just drag that shit from the top there. And then I need to set jump grace period to that. And then if jump grace period is we're setting jump grace. It's not jump grace period. We should call it jump grace countdown. And what are your opinions? Can you guys understand what I'm doing a little bit more if I'm working in these nodes, or is it just still the same? Like, I don't know what the hell you're doing with the actual code, but I maybe can understand what you're saying. Basically, what we made is a countdown timer. We're decrementing the delta t every time we call update, and that'll count down to 0. So we basically just do a branch here. And our condition is basically like float is less than 0. Except I don't want a less than, I want like a less than equal to. Less than equal to 0. And if that is true, then we need to set wants to jump to false. So if that's less than 0, then we want to set that to false. Otherwise, nothing. So this has our countdown timer here, and it's basically setting want to jump to true or false. So what we should have is when we it just doesn't do anything. Okay. So it doesn't work. And the reason is because of this. So if this is false, then we're going to head to the next area. Alright, so it definitely looks like it's working properly. It feels like it. It's not something you guys can easily see, probably. That I'm tapping a button 100 milliseconds before it actually hits the ground. But that's what we accomplished there. And then the next thing we want is the jump kill. So if key down is false. So get virtual controller is key triggered. It's basically something like, it's not is key triggered, it's is key down, and we're looking for if this is down, then we are going to want to call set jump kill on it. Set kill jump. Well, we actually need to so if this is true, then we need to actually call this thing. But I can't actually call the function I need, so we're gonna have to expose that to blueprints. Blueprint callable. Set kill jump is definitely callable. Alright, so I should have been able to call him. Yeah, set kill jump to true. So this should make it so I so it's definitely, I'm starting to get some ideas about how you should probably put together blueprints, such as you want to chunk these things out into blocks that kind of like have inputs and output nodes on them, and then throw these things all together, and then like I'm starting to get an idea of how you'd probably want to organize all this crap together. So we'll set kill jump to true or false depending upon if the A button is pressed. And this should make it so we can do short jumps. And it's not working at all. So there's going to be a node here that's not, yeah, there we go. Now we can only do short jumps. That's because I got the wrong thing. Should be